Tunneling is a common buzzword tossed around when talking about pitching. Batters can only observe the ball for so long before they have to decide whether to swing or not. So generally, pitchers want their pitches to look as similar as possible, only to then separate as much as possible. This is what pitch tunneling describes. Naturally, it's easier done at higher velocities, giving batters less time to react, and more effectively done when a pitcher can hit their spots. This is a fundamental part of pitch design, modeling how your pitches are going to work off of one another. Some pitchers like Trevor Bauer heavily focus on how their pitches tunnel, while some guys like Rich Hill opt to just make the ball move a lot. Regardless of what route you pursue, being intentional in the pitch design phase will be beneficial. Now, MLB teams have technology like Rapsodo and Edgertronic cameras to track how the pitch is released, the spin axis it creates, and estimate pitch movement metrics. Unfortunately, this kind of technology costs thousands of dollars. Not great for high schoolers. But as mentioned in my Basics of Pitch Design video, you can use black and white baseballs and slow motion cameras to analyze many of these same things, but you have to be smart in how you do it. I like to make sure the camera is behind my release point, lined up with my target, staying consistent between pitches. Now, not all these are necessary, but they each serve their own purpose. As an example, let's look at a changeup I was developing about a year ago. This particular day I was throwing at my local high school. Now, since they didn't have anything back here to prop up a camera, I had to put it behind home plate. So this made reading spin axis and spin rate very difficult. However, since my release point was lined up with my target, I was able to accurately gauge how much the ball was moving. So here was the changeup that day. Now alone, that looks like a pretty good pitch. It dives low and away, just like I designed the ball to, by having a spin axis that's very horizontally oriented. And then to work off of that, here's my fastball. When you overlay the two, you actually get a sense of what they're doing. I don't quite release them at the same point, but since the trajectory is similar, I can see what the movement is doing. They're very similar in their flight till right about here. You can start seeing the changeup, its trajectory divert away from the fastball and start going down and away, while my fastball just stays up. Now, one particular benefit of throwing outside this day was that the sun was right about overhead, so I could track the shadows of the balls as they approached home plate. So as you can see right here, the changeup is right about up there, while my fastball's shadow is right there. Now I can roughly estimate, I don't know, that's 3-4 feet, I guess. But what that's showing me is that there's good separation in speeds between these two balls. So if a batter is expecting fastball and they see fastball a good amount of the way and they swing for a fastball, they're going to be out in front if it's a changeup. And that's exactly what I want. Likewise, since the separation between the two pitches seems to significantly be increasing, that means the movement from the changeup is actually separating enough to hopefully get me more ground balls and more swings and misses. Now, I briefly alluded to it earlier, but note the difference in release. Now, I designed this split changeup it had to be released slightly lower because, like I said, I'm trying to get horizontal movement. And since it's a split changeup, I designed it so it'd come off the middle of the inside of my middle finger. So dropping my arm angle gave me a bit more horizontal movement, but I thought it'd be subtle enough that the batter couldn't notice it. However, if you keep rewinding my delivery, you can see it pretty well in advance. In fact, I was even set up with my glove lower and I didn't even notice. Now that's like a foot difference. Likewise, mid-motion, changeup glove is still lower. So if you know what you're looking for as a batter, if you're observant, you can tell what I'm throwing before I even throw it. So if I come out of this pitch design lab, this tells me a lot. The pitch moves like I want it to. It's slower than my fastball, and it's diving low and away. But the root of my problems, along of course with gaining more command, is I'm tipping to batters long in advance what I'm doing. So when I'm in the lab, yes, I should keep trying to work on my command and work on my axis replication, but I should also be focusing on throwing with the same mechanics and trying to get my release point a bit higher to where my fastball is. Nothing replaces raw stuff paired with command, but being smarter with those tools is what separates the good from the great. Well, I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Have a nice day.